listen to me and listen to me real good. I've told you once, I said it 1,000 times. You get out of those pagan, satanic, religious, Christian churches. Christians do not follow the commandments of the Bible. Christians do what they want to do. They make up their own laws, their own rules, and their own regulations. Come out of her, my people, and come out from among them. And it's real simple and easy to ascertain who are these people you need to come out from. Easy. Number one, if they keep Sunday, that's an automatic sign that you need to not have any fellowship with these commandment-breaking, wicked deceivers and seducers and bewitchers of the truth. Simple.
Hallelujah. Most magnificent Abba Yah, we bless your holy name. We thank you for Yahshua, your salvation. We thank you for the blood. Our name's written down in the Lamb's Book of Life. Impart to us your truth so it can bring about a perfect man to be prepared for your kingdom. We thank you for all things. Speak to us your truth by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh in the magnificent name of Yahshua. Amen. You may be seated. Whoo, boy, I tell you what, if it ain't one thing, it's another in Israel, isn't it? Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not going to get sidetracked on what the ministry so I can spend time running around chasing false doctrines. You know, I got better things to do besides that. I don't understand how we even have time for any of those things when we can't even digest the word that we get here. We can't even be perfected with what we even get. I know one thing, at least one thing last night showed was this. It showed that these boring school teachings that I do, such as trying to get you to understand proper interpretation and what methods have to be employed in order to comprehend, they all come to the forefront. I didn't know nothing about eisegesis or exegesis until I started looking into it. And I go, this makes sense. This is stuff I've been applying all my life. I just say if it don't make sense, if it don't say what the prophets say, then can it? But when you start looking into the meaning of these words, and you see that almost when you're dealing with doctrines, you know, people, they're going to choose the things that suit them. Are you following me? Many times we sit and we listen, because we're in the age of information. Information is at our fingertips. And the one thing that I have often gave a scolding rebuke on and a correction on is going out there and reading something and assuming just because it's written down that it's true. Well, this book says, and see, right here, and this book says, and I mean, I'm not the sharpest knife in the box. I'm not the smartest man in the world by any stretch of the imagination, whatever that is. You know what I mean? But I do have the Ruach HaKodesh. That is for sure. And y'all remember that message I preached a long time ago that this is a loaded gun? I've seen people commit suicide with this. How can you not? It doesn't make any difference. See, think about this. How can you loose yourself from Israelite teachers of old? Well, you simply say that Paul's a false prophet. Well, he can't be a false prophet if he's an apostle. Is that too simple? I've heard people say that over and over again. But yet and still, these are the people who do not know how to talk. And they expect for us to comprehend what they're saying and look up to them as some type of great teacher. They even called me a false prophet. And I said, there's only one problem. I'm not a prophet. know how many people come to me and say, I know you're a functioning pastor, but you are a prophet. I said, really? I said, how you figure that? Well, because So there's two problems. You don't have no thus saith Yahweh, and I don't have no vision or dream telling me so. Now what we gonna do? Well, you ever heard vainly puffed up? Now you have to understand, because I'm preaching and I'm teaching, right? People automatically assume that I'm functioning after the same spirit that they're operating after. So they'll see me in the ministration up here and they'll go, well, see, look at him. He's the one who's prideful and vainly and puffed up. No, I'm bold to the point of obnoxious. Now, where's that a sin? I robbed other assemblies just so I could feed you. Now go understand what that means. Last night I made a good statement. Brother Delano just said to me this morning, he goes, here we are in this 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And y'all got 20 plus years of not just studying this thing, but living it. And who do we think we are? To think that we can come and teach y'all anything. Y'all notice I always deal with older men with gentleness? Y'all never notice that? Yeah, y'all never saw how I dealt with Elder Bill, my dad, Elder Bullock. Y'all pay attention to me. I tell you what, when you pay attention to things that you see and in me do, there's nothing wrong with you trying to be like me, because I'm trying to be like Christ. Is that making sense? So when Paul said, you follow me as I follow Christ. You don't think I ever look at the videos and go, boy, that's some foolish preaching, when I'm up here doing my skit dancing? And I'm going, man, that is foolish. And I'm the one looking at it. And you're the first partakers of it. Does that make me a foolish man because I have to base myself and become so common? I wouldn't have to do that if you wasn't so common. That's an insult, isn't it? That's an insult. See, either way it go, you can't win. Are you following me? I mean, I talk about a lot of disciplines in life. You know, you hear me talking, but I can't ever remember a moment when I was in boot camp that those DIs were nice to me. It's like something switched after we graduated. The worst ones was those black hats down at U.S. Army Airborne School. Them guys they were psychopaths. And when we graduated, it's like, what happened to them? This book got split personalities or what? And here it is, these yamies, a few years later, I'm in the same position doing the same thing. In other words, we're all going to have to be under tutors and governors until the time appointed. And that doesn't mean you go appoint yourself. And so people assume since I'm up here, they think I've appointed myself. Well, we can't ask Bishop Marbury because he's gone on to the kingdom now. I was so happy when I was sitting on that. I was sitting right there on that side. Right there in that front row, right there where Victor and Elias was. And if it was too full, I would make room when I come in. I'd frustrate people so much that they want to get up and move. Because I was hungry. Hungry for the truth. You think you ask questions, I ask questions. Why is the son following that pattern? Bishop Marbernick's son, just stick with the word. Okay. Does that make any sense? And now no older man can ever tell you that I've ever dishonored them. Very few younger men can say that. The only way you're going to function out this word is if this word is in your heart. Does that make sense? Now, let me go ahead and say this before we get started here this morning. I actually spoke with this Simon Alttuff a few years ago, probably along about 2010, 11. And I said, man, the way you going, first you're going to deny Paul. Then you're going to deny the New Testament. Then you're going to deny the Messiah. And you're going to be reprobate. Everything that these people are doing today with all these doctrines, every single one of them a Jewish mysticism. They gender to nothing. That make sense? Let me give you an example of a few men of y'all. Moses, did he have power? Elijah, Elisha, Samuel. Ah, isn't that something? Jesus, Peter, Paul. Amazing. Amazing. Then guess what? If we're Israelites, we're supposed to have some power too then. Yeah, we're going to find out what he says. There's some more people that have left these camps and done come into one of our little small home tribes. And of course, when they leave these camps, what they do is they start telling us everything that goes on. In other words, but you wouldn't believe how popular we are amongst these camps. You ever heard of spying on our liberty? Yeah, people do that. And one of them, the last one that left, said that they stood up and says, you know, Straitway is doing this. Why come we're not doing it? They said everybody gets mute. Nobody says a word. They get. If there was power in books, man, I build some custom shelves and we'll line up this whole building right here. Make us Fort Antonio and we can all put our diadem on and we can get busy. Jeez. See how foolish this stuff is? They that are led by the Spirit of Yah, these are the sons of Yah. Hey, you know what we're going to go into today a little bit, because we're going to do a little bit of history, some recap, but you know what we're going to do? You remember I told y'all some time ago, you got all these people out here hollering and screaming Esau's the white man. And remember I told y'all some time ago, I said you got a lot of these black folks that sit up there calling Esau the white man, and some of them could be Esau. It's amazing, isn't it? See, the truth is by their fruit you should know them. By their fruit you should know them. So today we're going to show you in the region where actually black folks were Edomites and actually converted to Israelites and followed the laws of the Jews. This ought to be interesting here, shouldn't it? Canaanites, Syrians, Assyrians. Wait. That's the reason why I can't get with this stuff. So if y'all see me adopting certain positions, or let's say I make a stance on certain positions, but yet I don't go into speaking about it, that doesn't mean I'm without knowledge. You know, a lot of people out there just waiting for me to talk so they can go back and rehash it and regurgitate it or do whatever they're going to do with it. Because Pastor Dowell ain't got time to be sitting up there soaking myself and immersing myself in hours of YouTube videos, a bunch of vain people who don't have the baptism of the Holy Spirit. What am I going to learn from them? It's like the sacred name movement. Did y'all hear it again last night? How many times have I said it over the years? Can you imagine this? We got people out there call themselves messengers of the name. Is that the gospel? What happened to Abraham? He's the father of faith and didn't even know his name. Now what we going to do? You all right, Ashley? Isaac didn't know his name. Jacob didn't know his name. We're dealing with the one from the very beginning, who's the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. I can go on all throughout them scriptures and show you where Yah's people didn't know his name. And yet and still, they make a big deal out of, what is his name? Is that the good news? Is that the message? So you mean tell me if we follow these people's philosophy today that Abraham's not going to be in the kingdom? Because he couldn't say his name. What is his name? Brother Shane calls it all the time mind candy. Just mind candy. So we go into all these little doors and all these rooms and stuff, and I'm looking for fruit to see if it's going to make you a better man or woman. I'm looking for maturity, spiritual maturity. I'm looking to see if you know how to discern good and evil. See, you can't get past by their fruit you shall what? Know them. The reason why we're not a great nation today is because we didn't want to obey Almighty Yahweh. So how wise and understanding are we then? Oh, glory to the King. As a result, I know the reason why we think the way we think, because we've got the immersion of the Gentiles all in our wicked hearts. How many people out there are really, truly, actively working on the heart? That is a good teaching right there. That is something good to put emphasis on. Huh? You know the reason why? Because the book gives us so much information about this heart. And it says nothing good about it. And yet everybody walks around and assumes that their heart is the epitome of righteousness. To this all the prophets speak about. And nobody is putting emphasis on working on it. We're massing ourselves with how to pronounce this word, how to define this word, but we're not working on sanctification. It's on the back burner. It's not even in, matter of fact, it ain't even in the arena. We act like we're so concerned about everybody else. By this shall all men know you my disciples. By the what? And then the first thing you do, that everybody out there on the world platform of the internet, they see two Hebrew camps getting out there acting a total ass and at each other's throat. Who gonna want to come to something like that but a fool? You look at this carnival, this dog and pony show, and you see the way these people are acting with each other, and you mean to tell me that that's going to draw you? If it does, you are a prating fool. This making sense? And the reason why I'm talking like this morning, because I know that they are listening. Not only listen, they are watching. They there. Oh, yes, they are. I need to make up a song. I know you are there, devil. And it's going to take somebody to actually really truly say it, to put in our mind. The same thing that the Messiah was dealing with in his days is the same thing we're dealing with in our days. The same thing that the Apostle Saul and Peter and all them was dealing with in their day, same spirit we're dealing with in this day. Now we got people that are denying the Messiah that bought them and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And they're hoping. Imagine, looking how slick and sly the devil is. Well, y'all better thank y'all that old brother Mitch, man, he's on top of it. He's king, he's watching. That's just like, let it be like Brother Victor. He comes here. He lives here every Shabbat, right? He's here. He on the road working, trucking, getting it down, jamming gears, watching out for all them stupid cagers out there. It ain't till you drive a truck when you find out these people got a license, don't know how to drive. Isn't it true? These folks don't know how to drive. They think because they get a license approved up by the state, all they've done is just made you an insurance liability because you're going to hit somebody with your dumb, stupid self. You're going to be too busy talking on the phone, texting, putting makeup on, or doing whatever crap else you're doing. You're there to make sure that we keep this economy afloat. What was I talking about before I got on driving, Brother Mitch? Brother Mitch? That's just like Brother Victor. He been out on the road, right? And he done heard some new doctrine coming from some new camp. And then he comes back here and he says, hey, brother, I'm going to come over and fellowship tonight. Come over fellowship. Hey, check this out. Man, did you know? Did you know, brother, that we can service ourselves? What are you talking about, man? Does not heroin come from the herb, man? We can get spiritual. Man, check it out right here, proof text. And here you are with your stupid self, huh? And you read, yeah, it does say that. I got some right here. Next week, I'll bring us a dime bag. And we can get into these scripts, enter into the spirit. Help us, Father. Help us, Father. And next thing, that spirit won't be satisfied until we all come into the tabernacle. First of all, we got to get past all the marijuana smell out in the front door because everybody out there firing it up and playing Rick James in the background so we can come in and enter into the spirit. We're all hallucinated, inebriated, the whole 9 yards, and by the time we get in here, man, we're floating. Then we can't wait for the word to get over because we got the munchies. This is foolishness, I tell you. Y'all children pay attention to me because these folks out have lost their minds. Well, y'all see the book taking place right before our very eyes. So you see these teachers on eisegesis, exegesis, hermeneutics, and all this other stuff that we go into and stuff. These are the times you really, truly need to be paying attention. You really need to be paying attention. You need to give your undivided attention. Because I'm telling you, people are slick with words. And I've seen people make this book do some magnificent things in their eyes. And the only reason why I got to touch on it because I have to use this as an example because it's in front of us right now so that nobody else get carried away with their dissimulation. I mean, because I didn't know he's out there making all these videos. I get reports, you know, it has been commonly reported. I hear a few reports because reports come from faithful people, don't give you no credence and stuff. But then when I get a pastor call me and give me the report and then tell me that he's actually talked to him himself, oh, now we got to deal with it. See, if Brother Victor did that, he would be classified as what the book says, that certain men have crept in unaware. And of course, it ends with these ungodly men that are meant to be condemned. So somebody has got to fit this book. You better hope you stay in it. You better hope you stay in it. He that have ears, let him hear. Have y'all ever read this way, proper interpretation, that the Apostle Saul, he used to wreak havoc on the assemblies of Yah? What happened all of a sudden? He received the revelation of the Messiah. And then next thing you know, the very institution that he was wreaking havoc on, they were afraid of him. And the system that he worked for, that sanctioned him bringing people bound to Jerusalem, now they want him. Wouldn't it stand to reason that that institution would have said, I wonder what happened to him, because he was a zealot. He was very zealous for this. And what happened to him? We need to look into this. But rather than looking into this, what do? They raise up factions, seeking to attack and kill him. As a matter of fact, they even had some to even bind themselves by an oath that we will not eat. Of course, you know they didn't keep their oath, did they? Liars. Because we don't read nothing about them dying of starvation. But look at the energy put behind this, though. And now here's Paul hazarding himself for the message. And we got people today that ain't never been in any hazard whatsoever at all, unless it's a traffic hazard. The only persecution they've ever received is somebody called them a name. Here we are in the plus green, and the audacity of these people to think that they can even judge the Apostle Saul. At least we have his books. You trying to sell yours. It's a mess. Everybody's got something to add. If we're going to have people that are seeking to draw away disciples after themselves, who would they be today then? How would they function? What do they look like? What is their behavior? Is this making sense? All these are things that need to be considered. Let me tell you something. Paul said, I have no man that cares for your estate like me. I say the same thing. Oh, we got a lot of wonderful pastors and elders and brothers and sisters in this meeting, but there ain't nobody in this ministry care for your soul more than I do. Not one person. How do we gauge it? How do we weigh it? I have people that are, people had to be with Paul in the ministry. Priscilla and Aquila. They had to be with him, his helpers. Is that making any sense? I had a young man some time ago said that, well, I can do the same thing you do. I said, well, have at it. Well, just let me get up and preach. No, you said you can do the same thing I can do. Get out there and get after it. We'll find out if you got a seal of your calling. You're not going to use this platform to say you can do what I can do. Damn it, go through the same painstaking task I went through. Get your faith tested and tried. See if you got a seal of your apostleship. Is this making sense? I'm just stating facts here. Well, you already have a ministry. No, I don't have a ministry. I'm in the ministry. It's just that I'm placed somewhere in the body, in the ministry of Yahshua HaMashiach. You don't see us have a big old round globe up here. The teaching ministries of Pastor Charles W. Dowell Jr. Worldwide evangelist, worldwide pastor, worldwide teacher, worldwide author. You know. The ministry of Charles Dowell. Now tell me you don't see this mess out there on the TV. What ministry you got? You thief? Fleecing people. Making merchandise of people off of somebody else's message, you damn liar. And people get mad at me because I'm for y'all. I mean, I may not be the sharpest knife in the box, but I tell you one thing, I ain't going against him. I got wisdom. I know who the Elohim and the man is. And I am in service. See, what people do is they look at something, they think, okay, this is the way it is, because that's where their mind is at that time. They don't get it. They don't get it. They just don't get it. So I tell people, I told you, how many times I tell you, stop eating off of the table? You got a table full enough that you can't even make it from one Sabbath to the next. Oh, hallelujah. But it's going to happen though, isn't it? Huh? That day shall not come unless there's a falling away first. Now, who's going to fit that bill? Somebody got to fit the bill. Because ain't nobody going to admit that they fell away. So you be careful these. How would you know a foolish and unlearned question? How would you know what to avoid? Unless you're taught to discern what a foolish and unlearned question is. Show me in the Bible where it says that the Messiah is going to die for a people. I don't show you a damn thing. How about that? But I tell you, in the feast of the Most High Yah is clearly laid out. Isn't that amazing? Well, show me in the scriptures where it says that somebody is going to be in the earth 3 days and 3 nights. Prophet Una. This is amazing. Where's the name of Christ at in the scriptures? Yahweh. Because he said, I come in my Father's name. Don't y'all mean y'all salvation? Yes, that's right. Oh. Amazing, isn't it? But see, when they ask these questions, and if you don't know this word, they're there to trap you. They're there to snare you. Because you know you have to have an answer. Because if you don't answer, you feel like you've lost. You know, you feel that spirit rising up in you. Yeah, you do, because you got to say something. They tell me, show me. I say, I ain't showing you a damn thing. Now, how about that? Sit there and wonder. That's because you don't know. You're right. Sarah. Whatever will be, will be. The future is hard to see. What are you doing, man? I know you know I'm answering a fool according to his folly. I don't like you. You sarcastic. Take one, no one. we can do this all day long. And you still ain't getting your answer. All right, I'll tell you what. Ask a question, I'll give you an answer. All right, I'll ask you a question. All right. Well, tell me, man, come on. Was Yahshua the Messiah? Did you know Mars is red? Man, what are you talking about? I'm answering your question. What's the problem? You don't like my answer? But Mars is red. You don't believe me? Look at it through a telescope. I didn't ask it. You asked a question. I gave you an answer. Now honor me by accepting my answer. Honor me, brother. If you can't, then get the hell out of my presence. Did y'all learn something with this right here? Y'all learn something? I hope so. You don't want to have to deal with people like it, but some people you do. Now you think about that. If we continue on in that kind of mode, you know a spirit going to enter in that person and try to take a stick and beat me up with it? A spirit going to come on them. Why you think they want to gnash on Paul with their teeth? Bunch of cannibals. You ain't supposed to be eating humans. In other words, I'm telling you, to be a man of Yah, you better get yourself ready, because this message right here is going to call for you. Yeah, the real true message. You don't believe me? Well, the prophet's true. How did the majority of them end up? What about the apostles? Huh? How did Peter and James end up? The only one we know that actually just died was Johann on the Isle of Patmos. All the rest of them did not escape the sword or the spear for the message. And everybody wants to be a preacher today. Amazing, isn't it? Everybody want to carry this word. What do you think the Messiah was saying when he says, don't you even think about what you're going to say in that hour, because I'm going to give it to you. You ain't never thought, wait a minute, if you give me something to say, I know I'm going to end up like you. And he goes, you got that right. You remember Simone Kepler? When the Messiah said, hey, can you partake of this cup that I partake of? I sure can. You will. And everybody wants to be a preacher. That's because from this Gentile mindset, they look at this and view it through a pagan's mind. They see things through a heathen's eyesight. They don't see it for what the message really truly is. Oh, we love Jeremiah. Oh, we only love him because we can read his writings, but we wouldn't love him in our face. I told you, people, they don't get it wrong. People don't love Jesus like they think they do. Could you imagine putting the Messiah in this culture right now and how he would talk to us? Huh? With all these religious folks, man, they wouldn't have tried to stone him. They would have did a drive-by. They'd have got Uzis out to make sure they got him. See, we are a very arrogant people. Yeah, we are. We have a very high and very lofty opinion of ourselves. We assume. We read the book, man. We assume we will love the Apostle Saul. Have you read him? Have you really, truly read the type of man this man was? You like people because you love them that love you. So what thank have you? You don't even know what love is. I like her because he like me. I love him because he loved me. You what? Or what about the scriptures? A friend is born for adversity. Oh. Look at us looking now. Y'all listening, right? Maybe last night try to help us to listen again instead of just occupying space and time, right? I hope so. I really, truly hope so. And everybody wants to be a preacher. I can't imagine it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And the only reason why, because it's there. Because they want to make disciples of themselves. You ain't never heard of people testimony when they first hear me? They go, oh no. They cut it off. A few days later, they come back. What happened? Must be the Ruach HaKodesh dealing with them. Cause I'm telling many of you didn't kick your heels up and gave Yah glory when you first heard this voice. You was offended. Then Yah kept dealing with you. The latest statement I heard was, I used to listen to you because you were funny. I turned, you get laugh, and then all of a sudden I found out, guess what? You ain't funny. I just discovered how big of a fool I am and how serious you were. I just had a brother say this to me last week. Yeah, last week. He says, and then I started listening. And then I figured out I'm in trouble. Big time trouble. And he says, what I thought was funny, was actually a whooping for me. And I was like, well, I can only say one thing. You have heard. You have heard. All the rest of you, let me continue to keep entertaining you. Glory to the King. I hope we learned something this morning. Uh-oh, look at him looking.